hit that button. Let's get to it. I appreciate everybody that's gonna check out the channel today and check out the show. What's happening with y'all? What's good? We gonna talk about the whole camera crashed on me. We gonna talk about Aries spirits today. I appreciate y'all checking out the channel and sliding on me. Selfmadeology is the brand. That's the name of my album. That's my music, and that's what I created. So I appreciate y'all coming to check us out. We was just talking about Aries spirits because he's been going in on Ice Cube and really like you could say treating Ice Cube. And Ice Cube is a legend, you know. I mean, he got like a lot of credential in the game. He been doing his music thing, which swept across the nation. Obviously, being one of the leaders and writers for NWA, and we always have been super fans of Cube, and in a lot of ways, fans of Aries Spears too. I mean, I always liked his comedy. I always liked what he did, but now he having a gripe with Ice Cube, and he making it be known that he don't like Ice Cube as an artist, and a lot of times people be claiming that Ice Cube is an Uncle Tom a lot of times right now, but that's going to be determined by the people. So we're going to see if Ice Cube is wrong or if Aries Spears is right. Is Aries Spears? I'm gonna do a little poll. Let me know where y'all from and how y'all feeling today. And I appreciate y'all checking us out. Right about Ice Cube. Then people gonna be saying, "What did he say? What did he say?" Well, I'm sure people heard. If they haven't heard, I'll give them a little explanation. But I'm your boy Yusef Two Times. This is my channel. This is my music. I created uh, my own little sound out there in hip hop, and it's my thing. And then I get on here and talk and have fun, and we chat about the stuff that's going on in the world and the comedians and all the celebrity shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we do music and it's fun, it's entertainment. It's exactly what we do. And then I appreciate y'all. Oh, actually, you know what? I didn't write that correctly. I wrote that in the comment section instead of putting that as a. I need to put that as a poll, not a comment. That's funny. All right, let's do this like this. Excuse me. And then hit that like that, and boom. We had a really rainy day today, so the rain popping so hard sometimes it make you drain out. You be like, man, and it came down crazy. I'm like, first I was like watching the rain, and then next thing you know, I was waking back up. I'm like, what the? Wait a minute, because it was crazy hitting like, I'm like, damn, what the fuck? Should I close the window? And then I just slooped down a little bit. Next thing you know, I'm waking back up like, man, they say you can sleep through rain. All right, so we got Aries Spears talking crap about Ice Cube. Let me know. Do the poll. Let me see if you think Ice Cube, if Aries Spears is correct or right in this conversation. So let's flip the camera and let's let Aries Spears explain what he got to say. And I appreciate you guys coming over here, like and subscribe, show love, all the good stuff. Let's go.
That's my man. But this nigga called me like I disrespect. That's him in every
Oh
fucking
shit, I bumped it. I
I
bumped
was
it my
in
fault, y'all.
Louisville, Kentucky, and this nigga, and I love Willie D. That's my man. But this nigga called me like I disrespected his mama. He was like, "Hey, Aries, man, you don't understand what Ice Cube done did for the culture, man, and hip hop. Why you say?" And I go, "Willie, it's a subjective opinion. I'm allowed to not like Ice Cube. I know, man, but Aries, man, he was on me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's Willie. I talked to him every few days.
yeah,
Yeah, he's like that. He's
yeah.
like that. Um, you don't like anything Ice Cube's done?
Nothing. Ice Cube does nothing for me as a rapper and an actor.
Okay,
Nothing.
let's start with the rap. Let's start with the rap. Fuck the Police. You don't think that's a classic song?
It's classic because of what it represents in terms of black struggle symbolism and what black people have gone through with the police historically. It's the song that makes you go, yeah, yeah. I get how it can touch your emotions, but it don't do nothing for me.
Straight out of
But see,
Compton.
that's crazy though, because I kind of feel like it's a little bit of hate because everybody respect everything Ice Cube done. Straight out of Compton, fuck the police. It was a gay. Today was a good day. It's really different to talk about it today, 15, 27 years into the future of that impact and what it was and what it meant. It's like all the way off into the future. You could diss it if you want to, but dude, it did what it did. You can't take the legacy from something. That's just like saying, I kind of do like LeBron James way more than I like Jordan. Well, Jordan ain't playing no more. It was 1993 when he played, 96. Like that no more. So of course you're gonna love the guy that's today. You ain't gonna care about the guy from yesterday. So that's where I think that Aries Spears is a little off. I don't think he should be dissing Ice Cube like that because Ice Cube is not. He went into acting and everything like that. And you don't have to like somebody. Don't get me wrong. It's your choice. But you know, somebody who's laid down a lot like that, and then you just gotta. I mean, I guess we're supposed to listen to your opinion on if he's a good artist or if he's creative enough. And that's like, come on, the dude didn't show the whole world what he can do. And it almost seemed a little bit like hate. So I want you guys to vote, hit the votes. The votes are coming in. I'm seeing the votes looking really good. We got a nice little amount of votes coming in. And I want you guys to hit the like button and show some love. I'm Yusef Two Times. This is my channel. This is where we do rap, music, everything versus vibe out, and we chill. And so in this particular situation, we're talking about Aries Spears and why he's just feeling like it's okay for him to diss Ice Cube, even though Ice Cube is a super legend, and everybody know Ice Cube is a legend. Like, you can't take that from him. So hit the like button, show love, and do those votes. We're going to get right back to Aries Spears' conversation and see what he got to say. Let's go.
Gangster. These
When
songs.
the song that makes me want to jump out of a window is "Have a Good Day." Today was a good day. Rolling down the street in my 6'4". Police didn't come bother us no more.
That's not the way the lyrics go.
Whatever, but that cadence, that fucking cadence. You might as well have him say green eggs and ham. Sam, I am.
I'm gonna ask you to redo this because it was so funny when I heard it the first time.
The Tommy Chong joke?
No. Ice Cube doing Anaconda.
I don't remember what I did with that.
You did a whole scene.
I ain't gonna stay on Vlad video because you know he don't really allow that. But if you go on Vlad video, you can see more. We just really getting to the really component, the part about is Aries Spears right about Ice Cube? Is Ice Cube just boring and kind of say the same thing and sound the same? You know, when you talk about the song "Today Was a Good Day," again, the climate is off. He's talking today as if yesterday didn't happen. Like the song came out last month, and then today's climate, like the youngsters and the people in the world today get the vibe and choose that song. It wasn't like that. At that time when that song came out, it's really, you know, about music. It's really about who said it first, especially at that time. So you had to be clever on who said it first. So most people was describing a neighborhood. It was movies like Straight Outta Compton. It was movies like Minister Society that was coming out at that time frame. So when Ice Cube was describing Today Was a Good Day, he was basically being the opposite of that reality of what we realize happens in the neighborhood. So you know what it was and what it continued to be today. So then to make that particular song was him saying, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna say nothing happened, which is what we want it to be our reality, but that's not true in a lot of cities, a lot of times. So this is what he said. Nothing happened today. Today was a good day, but that was not what was going on, and especially in his life too. You're getting pulled over. It was just a different climate in the world. It's a different climate in the times. So for him to say nothing happened, nothing, we didn't get no arrested by the cops. It was almost like a joke to the police. Like none of that happened. We didn't get pulled over by the police today. I was just able to play ball with my homies, and I won. And I won the basketball game. I won the dice game. It was like, get the fuck out of here. So that's what made the joke of the song funny. He did it first. He was somebody who flipped it and said, now it ain't just us riding through the hood with the guns up. If you listen to any Ice Cube song, that's what it was about. So in that one particular song, he flipped it. Just like when LL Cool J rapping, going crazy, freestyle killing. He was knocking niggas down if it was a battle. But then he made a love song. So then it's like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, listen, you heard it? Oh shit, this is actually the first rap love song. Now this shit is all over the place. Now people do it so much, it's normalized. But at that time, it was the very first love song, so it did what it did. So to say Ice Cube didn't do what he did at that time is stupid. Come on, get out of here. You ain't gotta like him, but you can't again take none of his credentials. That's exactly what happened. He was doing something in hip hop that hadn't been done, and that's what hip hop was at that time. Everybody was trying to be the most clever, the most somebody who did something that was out of the box. What was it? What is the thing that you could do? It was guys who brought jazz into the rap. It was guys who brought. I think Humpty started putting on a mask. But I'm gonna tell you how you could tell what I'm saying is not a joke. When Humpty Hump put on a mask and he played two characters, nobody else did that in the history of rap. He's the only person since that character came out, the Humpty. Nobody else did that. Nobody else played two characters as a rapper. They only played themselves because he did that, and there was no biting. It was no, if somebody else did it, you couldn't do it too. So it wasn't like it was 100 2-man rap groups. It was only like maybe one or two. It was EPMD, and it was like one other guy, one other group. Maybe I think Daz Effects. But then Daz Effects was with EPMD. So it wasn't a whole lot of 2-man groups, because if it was one already, then that's what it was. So people started trying to be like, well, look, okay, well, we want to still do the same thing, but we from this region, or we from this borough, or we going to still be a 2-man crew, but we ain't going to be from where y'all from. we going to be from over here. So everybody was trying to dissect a way to be able to distinguish themselves different. And that's exactly what Ice Cube did, and that's how that song was able to resonate so hard. Now, obviously, if you listen to the lyrics and the actual words, you'll be thinking like, oh, today was a good day. You can't catch the climate of what he was doing in the rhymes or putting it out. But it's just like some songs and you know the artists that made the songs, you can convey why they did it because you follow the songs. What's up, Cosmo? What's good with you? I appreciate you coming in and saying hi to me and everything like that. What's popping with you? I appreciate everybody who stopped in the chat, who stopped in to check out the show, make a vote, and everything like that. I appreciate y'all. We're going to get back to Aries Spears talking what he got to say. And if you got something to say, let me know in the comment section, and we're going to go from there. Let's go.
There's snakes in there. That's him in every fucking move. No depth, no range. And this is why it pisses me off as a comedian when they cast rappers in comedies. Because as a comedian, we're going to bring our natural God-given talent to a script where we go, this is funny, but now let me sprinkle my talent on it and elevate it. Cut to, are we there yet? Here's the comedy. Ice Cube, the dad, walks up on the ladder to go change something on the roof. He slips off the ladder. Cut to the aerial shot, him in the bushes with goofy face. That's the comedy. And that's as far as it'll go. Because a rapper is not going to be able to go, okay, that is funny, but there's something else. Do you see all the angles? Do you know comedically, do you see where you could go, it'd be funnier if I did this, changed this, said this, the timing. Now, I guarantee you, I will get called a hater in all these fucking comments because idiots can't separate fact from hatred. I'm telling you what it is in terms of an art form. Talent, what you bring to it, a comedian's eye, his mentality.
I say I gotta push back on him right there because what he's trying to say is that the comedian is the only one that can convey these type of attributes in a movie. And in my former hustle, I was basically making hood movies all over the city, and I definitely disagree with that because whereas a comedian can and do bring those attributes to the movie and those components to the movie, you still got the actual guy like a person like Ice Cube who brings what he brings, and it's not so much of a slapsticky comedy kind of feel to it. Ice Cube might bring more of a, I can't believe this brute is doing this kind of thing, or I can't believe this gangster rapper is playing this character, and that's enough for the comedy relief for a lot of people. And so he believes that you got to be kind of a little bit more slapsticky, or you might gotta, do something extra to add to the comedy. But if you got a person like Ice Cube who has a personification of already being like a gangster or a tough guy or a street person or a dude that's from the block, then now he's conveying that, oh, that could be tempered with if I'm a dad and are we there yet? Oh, that could also be a little bit off kilter if I'm actually gonna be in a river somewhere in the Amazon with a fucking anaconda. You know, I'm still from the streets, but I'm a fish in a different pond if I'm in this particular predicament, and that's where the comedy relief comes from. And I don't think that Aries Spears understand that. He looks at everything from a comedic perspective, so it's like I'm supposed to make you laugh, but then that is making a person laugh if the character is out of their normal position. You know what I'm saying? So, for instance, if a shark was sitting in your front room when you get home from work, it wouldn't be funny at all. You'd be trying to bust his goddamn head. But if you was in the water and you was seeing a shark, you would be screaming shark. Like it's a shock to you. And he'd be singing food because it'd be a shock to him. Like, damn, some food just gonna come this close to me. So again, this is the comedy that we all like from Ice Cube. We don't need him to be slapstick. We don't need him to be Jerry Lewis or Jerry whoever these people was. We need him to be him. You know what I mean? It'd be the same thing if Cat Williams start Kevin Hart stop doing the comedy that we know them from or like them with, and then he started being serious actors. And then we got to start now watching them be serious in this movie. He got a kid, he got a razor. We watching them to see if it's gonna be some kind of phony element to it, but it really ain't. And I remember when what's his name, Eddie Murphy did that. You know, we was liking his comedy. He was doing so good, but then he wanted to get serious because that's, I guess, what he felt like at that time in his life. And it really didn't work. The serious shit didn't seem too believable. And then next thing you know, Eddie Murphy was doing kid movies. So I don't know what Aries Spears talking about this and Ice Cube, but I'm gonna let him talk some more, and we'll see what he got to say. And hit right back to the message, and we'll talk about it. Let's go.
A rapper doesn't possess that. No more than I possess the ability to rap. Better than a rapper.
Okay, well, let's talk about this then. You don't think that Ice Cube was great in Friday? I will give you that he's playing himself.
He was great in Friday, but tell me how different Friday is from Boys in the Hood. Only difference is the nigga don't have a gun.
Well, Boys in the Hood was a dramatic role.
Either way, he's playing a street nigga. He's playing a street nigga from Los Angeles. That's not a stretch. That's not a stretch. Instead of him going, is there a problem here? He's going, bitch, is there a problem here? It's just a different tone, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, he was higher learning.
And this more like his comedy relief. And I think he sat down with Vlad right before they went live and hollered about it and was like, yo, could we talk about this, bro? Could we say something, man? I don't care, man. And I think that they went on ahead and did that. I think they talked about it already. Old girl said, it's only one person in this chat. So what, girl? How you going to get to 100 if you can't get to one? That's why they on here being your fans watching instead of actually doing it themselves, because they can't believe that. They believe that you're supposed to have 100 million people already. Oh, Lord. I got to keep catching my camera because that baby be falling on me. Wait. Rotation device back. Huh? Oh, okay. I must hit the button. Yep, that's what it was. I hit that button. What's happening right now? There you go. You got to go back sideways and come back. So that's just crazy how that is for them to think that. But I think that Cube then gave his legacy a long stretch, and I don't believe that Cube should be dissed right now by some comedian. And I know that old boy doing a little comedy relief. He basically doing interviews, but in the interviews he get to do comedy, and so that's understandable. It's funny, ha ha ha. But at the end of the day, that's Cube, bro. That's Cube. He did his legacy. He got his name out there, and then everybody ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So you know he might be a Brad Pitt. Now you will see the same dude sitting on here talking about how Leonardo DiCaprio did such a great job in the movie, and he's such a great actor. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be, UTs like this guy, Uncle Tisms, that be, kind of goofy to me, and think that they just want to diss the other folks and shit. But Cube is the one who they hiring. So you could look at Cube any way you want to, but at the end of the day, that's the one. Cube is the one who the studios is hiring to be in their movies, and whether you like them or not, millions and millions of people get to see Ice Cube in movies around the world. So it's not like but Aries Spears talking about where he got to go to a comedy show in some town, and hopefully that's enough for him to get his name out there and people recognize him. Otherwise, ain't nobody coming for you to put you in no movie. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's his dilemma in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't getting picked up and called up to be in no movie. So you could diss Ice Cube all you want to, but he basically is the one who they hiring to be in their shows and be on their theaters. So they ain't looking at you. You know what I'm saying? You got to go do comedy. You got to go stand up on the show, and hopefully people listen to you. But it ain't nobody coming to see your movies. And then he been in the game 30 something years. He still ain't got no movie where he a lead. He still ain't got no movie where he the man. That this is telling, bro. It's like you ain't got that fandom. Your fandom is about 95 people, 300 people in the room, whereas Ice Cube is making what 32 million a weekend, 17 million a weekend, 115 million dollars a weekend. It's just different level of celebrity. It's different level of grind. And I don't think Aries Spears see that. He just look at it like I'm gonna go ahead and diss him. But I want y'all to do the voting, hit the poll right there, and let us know what y'all think about Ice Cube getting dissed by Aries Spears. Even I'm gonna put this on my hair because it's kind of crazy keeping it right there. But it's crazy thinking that Ice Cube is not a legend no more because he's not really famous like that as far as running around and making shows and doing what he did. We know what he do, and then eventually you're gonna want to leave the job. Just like anybody else, you got your job. You ain't gonna be sitting there doing that same job all your entire life. At some point, you're gonna want to break away from that and be like, man, I'm doing something different now. So they be dissing Ice Cube and talking about him, but like he's supposed to keep the same gig. Like I don't want to do that job no more, man. I'm over with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that no more. We doing this now. And his new gig is the basketball stuff. So I think Gary Spears is crazy for coming with this position. But I'm gonna go ahead and pop the camera back over to the other side, and you guys can see some more. You can vote for me too if you can. Hit the votes. Let's go.
Ice Cube and higher learning.
He plays Ice Cube in every movie.
Everything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not doubting that. I'm not questioning that.
There's no way you can
But
sell.
there's
No way you can sell me on Ice Cube the surgeon. Nurse, we gotta do a scalpel. Turn the gas up to CC74. No, you're gonna get that.
But I mean, he's never really played a truly dramatic role where he's out of his.
Why do you think that
character.
is? Why do you think?
Well, okay, well, for example, can't you say the same thing about Keanu Reeves? He pretty much plays the same person. Every role.
Again,
Am I right though?
hold up. On my podcast, this is an interesting thing that we do. And I think I mentioned it to you on here before. When we go actor or movie star, here's what I say about Keanu. He's not a great actor, but he makes great movies. Speed, Devil's Advocate.
All right, that dude is officially an Uncle Tom. He could definitely see the artistry in Keanu Reeves, but he cannot see the shit in Ice Cube. So that lets you know where his brain stand. He's an uncle, and he just believed that those kind of people from that culture should be doing much better, and they basically are believable for him, and he can't believe Ice Cube. So that just lets you know, what he ultimately he feel like. But I believe Cube has always done good movies. I believe that he's done the best movies, and to see him transition from just doing hood movies to doing Hollywood movies like Triple X and everything like that, where he's like the main guy and he get the love interest and all that. This is what Hollywood is all about, not just seeing the same person playing a guy character or whatever, and we just try to keep up with them. But Cube needed to do that too. He is not like them, so his personal life is a lot more like black people. He's not from that culture, so his personal life is not like mimicky of what you would see off screen. He's a black dude, so he's most time gonna be a black dude. So that's why when you hear him dissing Cube, it's almost like a little weird because it's like Cube is not fake. You know what I'm saying? Now his movie that he got out right now is garbage. Ice Cube got a movie out right now. It's fucking terrible, and I've seen it myself. It's so bad, it's not even real. But he still played in it. He probably had a deal where he had to go ahead and fulfill that. So he went on ahead and played that character in that movie. But the movie ain't nothing. I think it's on like Amazon Prime. But I was really like perplexedly saddened by that movie. Like this movie is so terrible. But that's his movie. But I would say if he ever did a bad movie, then this is probably the one. Because the rest of them was pretty fun. They had their thing going on. But this one is crazy bogus. Let's see what they saying about him.
Symphony. No, how come Ice Cube be the same guy in every?
Everybody got the same statement. This guy's an old comedian, bro. He was doing comedy so long ago. It's crazy to still see this dude around.
Movie. That man's Cube don't have no real acting range. It just be one gear. Nigga, everything I do be the same damn thing.
After initial reports of Ice Cube's War of the Worlds receiving 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, the film has moved up to a 3% rating, with many reviewers still claiming it's one of the worst of the year. The movie's release comes right after an Aries Spears interview where he said he doesn't care for Ice Cube's artistry, specifically his music and movies. It appears that the internet is proving Spears right, as Ice Cube's acting in the movie overall has been trashed by critics and casual watchers. Now,
Hey, I'm not gonna lie about this. Let me hear what you said. What did you say about this?
interestingly enough, this view of Ice Cube has been discussed before, as a clip from 2005's The Big Black Comedy Show would resurface, where a comedian would joke about Ice Cube playing the same role in his movies, nearly 20 years before Spears went viral for the same comments.
How come Ice Cube be the same guy in every movie? That man's Cube don't have no real acting range. It just be one gear. Nigga, everything I do be the same damn thing. Nigga with the same expression. Nigga, what? He be yelling against his back. Homies don't know how to act. What if Cube was a gynecologist? And he still talk like that? Y'all had to come in and see the doctor. He was like, yeah, Miss Jenkins, come on in. That's right, go on, sit up on the thing. Right then, I'm gonna check your chart.
The comedian's name is Tommy Chan.
Yeah, that was dude named Tommy Chong. He was funny back in the day. So I'm glad that he got his little shine because he had cracked that joke many moons ago. But in a lot of ways, again, context matters. He wasn't dissing Ice Cube at that comedy show. He was bigging up Ice Cube, showing that this guy could do what he do, but he doesn't have to change his character to be in a movie. He could still be himself, but still be believable for us at least. However, he's not doing a whole lot. But you know, you got people like Mark Wahlberg. You got Liam Neeson. These people do not change who they are. They're the same person in every single movie, but they color different. So it's a little different, and everybody got a little bit more acceptability for them. It's called suspension of disbelief. Your belief can't be suspended because you look at them and you say, nah, he ain't doing that. He ain't in love with that girl. So it's just crazy how all that stuff is playing out. But let's get back to the message real quick, see what else they got to say.
Comments would say that Aries Spears' Vlad interview is what brought them to the clip. Now, from the looks of his social media, Chan still performs stand-up comedy, currently based in Detroit.
All right, I'm gonna let that one ride because they were playing a little music in the background, and you got to say fair use. I don't want them to tweak on me about the music playing. But you know, and Tommy Chong is a funny comedian. So you might see him again in your life. But at the end, when I was coming up, he would be at like places like Def Comedy Jam and all them places. He was going crazy in the comedy world. Plus, he had like a little Hollywood uh, connect too. But you know, a lot of guys in the comedy world, they kind of get in and get out. But you know, Ice Cube really did put a stamp in the game as far as the actor goes. So for a dude to be tweaking on him, it's like it don't seem believable. It don't seem like Ice Cube is that bad as an artist if he's getting dissed by somebody like dude, that's all that make it funny to me. Is like, come on, you dissing Ice Cube, even though he's done like a lot for the game, you know, but still in all, you know, people ultimately get to be the ones who decide. That's why I did the poll down there, and you guys get to vote and let me know what you think about the Ice Cube being dissed by Tommy Chung. I mean, I'm sorry, by Aries Spears, and he's actually Aries Spears was on this show again, but it's a long show. But this is a Fat Joe show with Joe and Jada, but it's a long one, so I wouldn't know exactly where. Oh, okay, they put the timestamps in there, so you can see it. That's dope. I'm glad they did that. That make me want to check their show out some more. So y'all go check out Joe and Jada because they actually put the timestamps in a video, so you can see which part of the video you can actually see where they talking about where they talking about Ice Cube. So I'm gonna let that play for a second, and then we'll talk about it. Hit the like button, share the message. Let's get to the message. Let's go.
You know, I ain't know until I found out. Joe hit me up, was like, yo, I need you to do me a solid and do the intro for my upcoming album. I was more than happy to do it. One of my favorite rappers, but I never met you until today. And I'm telling you, I I'm fucked up because I'm literally sitting next to, hands down, one of the greatest MCs of all time. Like you in my top 5, dog. And every time I do Vlad or any kind of show where I talk hip hop, I go my top 5, no particular order.
This guy ain't shit.
I always see you show me love, though.
This guy, yo, Aries.
I say Jada, Hove, Nas, Biggie, and Rakim.
Nah. We ain't going for that. This guy ain't
want to
shit.
shoot me, man.
Let me tell you something. The reason I love Jada the most is because the locks, unity, they there for each other. This guy is fucking diabolical. He been sitting next to me in this show. I start watching old clips of the show, and I said, holy shit.
There you go.
Flaming me.
There you go.
I didn't even know. He come Euro step. Cause you know
hilarious.
Little City.
All right, let's get to the message.
Ice Cube, here in this show, we this is the love of the culture. This is the preservation. This is like the national preservation forest of hip hop. And whatever that means. And you know, Ice Cube, living legend. Do you ever, is it just jokes with you, or do you ever feel like,
listen, let me be clear. Did I miss something? Yes, we skipped the whole thing.
No, I'm doing the Jada Kiss right now. I'm trying to fix this.
Let me be clear here. First and foremost, I never attacked Ice Cube, the man. I never attacked his character. And first of all, my whole point was this word hate is being so overly abused and thrown around now. And unless you have an opinion that's favorable, you a hater. No, I'm opinion.
And that ain't true. That ain't true. Because if you would have watched the video, I played it a little back. I played it a minute ago. He was doing a whole comedy routine. And matter of fact, if you listen to it really quickly, you would tell that he was doing Tommy Chung's jokes from back in the day. He probably thought they would never come up to front, but Comedy Hype actually played Tommy Chung's jokes, and that's exactly what he did on Vlad. Probably he talked them instead of doing them like in an actual comedy routine. But he said the same thing. He actually said, I can't see Ice Cube as a gynecologist. You know what I mean? And so this is what, and then you hear Tommy Chung say that in an actual stand-up comedy. So he basically had heard that back in the day, and he was just kind of dabbling it into the conversation, funny wise, but and he basically did a comedy routine against Ice Cube, and that's cool. You know, he a comedian, but talking about his work and his work ethic and how how his impact has been regarding him as an artist, you cannot do that with Ice Cube because he's done too much. He's actually transitioned from hip hop to acting. So if you look at Aries Spears regarding saying a hater, you basically been a comedian consistently, and then you had a sketch comedy show one time. So it's like you didn't really transition from nothing. You didn't give us a reason to continue to watch you. So now you could even say, okay, well, you transition from a comedian to a podcaster. So okay, cool, we'll watch you when you go on person's shows or whoever. But you talking about a podcast, that's something that's like newly invented, last 7 years, last 5 years. You talking about Ice Cube, this guy do a movie, it's multi-million of people watching, it's multi-million people coming to see him, it's multi-millions of people paying attention to what he got going on as a creator. How you gonna just throw him under the bus like that? It just don't seem legit. I'm gonna let him talk a little bit more about it because I want to make sure we get his whole opinion. So I want you guys to actually like, subscribe, hit the like button. You rocking with your boy. We're doing the verses and vibes and verses. Hit your boy up. Let's get to the message. Peace.
Delivery comedically, I'm a little bit brutal. But at the end of the day, I never questioned his character. I never questioned him as a man. And listen, I even gave him his flowers and said, yes, he is a pioneer, a trailblazer, an icon in hip hop, especially with the West Coast. I'm just not a fan of his artistry. And by that, I'm just simply meaning, listen, man, for me, my musical palette, my hip hop palette, I'm an East Coast dude, man. But I like Snoop. I like Pop, who technically is from the East. But nonetheless, just because I'm not a fan of that does not mean that I'm a hater. And if I'm being really specific, what I was really speaking to was comedically, acting-wise. Because I just feel like, and listen, I know it's all about getting the bag and the money, and I just feel like with sometimes artistry, a rapper can't do comedically what a comedian can, because that's a muscle. That's an instinct. That's in our blood. We eat, sleep, shit, breathe comedy. No more than I can go in the booth and do what you can. Better than you.
You know, I saw T.I. Do some comedy. He was actually pretty good. Okay, don't go
That
there.
shut him dead up. That shut him up because again, you got Ti who's transitioning from a rapper and he's doing comedy. And obviously, it took a whole lot of people by storm. They was pissed off. They was mad. They looking at him like, "What you doing?" But at the end of the day, that's his God-given right to go out there and entertain the people and let them go and rock with him. And if he gonna do the chilling circle route, where he got to go to the small clubs and get to know the people, crack jokes, deal with hecklers, that should be something that it should be inalienable. It shouldn't be something that you got to kind of ask and see if other people gonna be okay with it. That's not what artistry actually is. And when he's saying a comedian and a comedian doing is better at delivery than a rapper, that's so openly dumb. That's like general. It's like no way. Ice Cube is funny for Ice Cube's level of comedy, and the people who watch his movies, that's the level of comedy that they want to see. So he believes that maybe knocking some water over or slipping on a banana is supposed to be extra, and then it's going to be like, okay, that guy must be a comedian. And we like to laugh. It's nothing wrong with funny. But if the people who wrote the script and wrote the story and the guy who done all this music and all this stuff and built up this big fan base come together and do this storyline, they're gonna make it fit him. They're gonna make it whatever he do, and that's the comedy that he project. That's what's gonna be the one that everybody rock with because they put too much effort into putting this movie together. And then the weekend come and they be like, what, 38 million, 72 million. So listening to somebody who has never done it is again, this is really one of the moments where it's like different levels. It's different levels. You basically a comedian. So let's say the biggest thing you could do is an arena. But then after you do that arena, you had to go back to doing normal small shows because you travel throughout the year. It's not like you're gonna do arena all year round. And then if you do 5 times in arena, you could probably sit back and chill. But then those guys don't want to sit back and chill because it's like I'm a comedian. I got to keep talking. I got to keep going. You can't do that in rap. In the hip hop game, you rap, you do your thing. As soon as your name and your music stop being effective and stop being out there, it's over. They made the rap game like the NFL and the NBA. It's really for the youngsters. You do your thing. You got in there. People recognize you, or maybe a lot of people rap and don't nobody recognize them. They do their music. They mixtape it up. You got family members and cousins and people you know like that. Then they get a job and they go to work every day. They don't be like, they don't drop music till they 50. They just be going to the crib. You see them be like, that's my old mixtape. Y'all remember when I used to do them shows? And that was it. That's the end of that whole thing. But when you got a person like Ice Cube who's done the music, written the songs, did the concerts, traveled the world, then transitioned to acting. Okay, bam. So maybe he's not the actor for you. Maybe he can't do what you would do if you had the opportunity, but you didn't get the opportunity. You didn't get the moment. The moment is in his pocket. He did all his work to lead him up to this position. So now to sit back and throw bricks at it, and you do not even have the chance yourself, it just don't seem cool. And I understand his point. Oh, another comedian could have did this. Another person. That ain't how it worked out. That's like, anyway, well, let's get back to the conversation. Hit the like button, share the message, y'all. Let's go.
Your opinion. It's your opinion. My opinion. But the comedy community will tell you otherwise. Because here's the problem. Here's the problem. If you're going to step into another genre, you got to humble yourself. And T.I. approaches comedy with the same bravado he approaches rap. That's a different aesthetic. Yeah. Humble yourself. I agree with you. I thought T.I. was funny, right? I may die one day. No, but I may die one day of laughter. I don't know if nobody had a heart attack of laughing because I'm the guy they threw me out the movie theater Eddie Murphy Raw. I went over there with the whole projects. Out of the whole projects, the security came was like, "You're an asshole. You're the one that gotta go. I'm the one making the most noise in the movie theater." They threw me out the movie. I am a sucker for a laugh, like a sucker for a laugh. So I thought T.I. was funny, but there's levels to this shit. Well, I'm gonna admit something here too that I've been noticing. I've been looking at and shit. In hip hop, it's all about competition, right? So you gotta convince yourself you're better than every other rapper, or whatever the case may be. And so there's a bit of delusion or whatever. And so we start the podcast, and the first thing I do is start shooting. Like I want to smoke with all the podcasters, and I realized I gotta humble myself a little because we just started this, even though we're the rookies of the year. But I can see where people can look at it and be like, "Yo, this guy." But this just my heart. I've always been like a a warrior, a gladiator to come out there for the smoke. But I realized the podcast is different
All right.
spaces.
Well,
Like
anyway,
everybody.
I look like they got to get off of 50 Cent and go into another direction, and that's really what I wanted to talk about. Was the 50 Cent? I'm sorry, Ice Cube situation. We're gonna move. They about to talk about Ice Cube. They're about to talk about 50 Cent next, brother. But I'm not gonna get into no Ice Cube. I mean, 50 Cent conversation. The whole conversation here was about did Ice Cube give his legacy enough standards so that people would keep his respect in their name about his name and not play with him and act like he's some kind of goofy because he didn't maybe act a certain way or play some character that they thought he should do. You know, like I said, when Eddie Murphy was this funny comedian and we was little kids growing up watching him and he was doing everything, we was watching every single thing he could do. From the beginning movie he made all the way up into his, you know, I think this before he started doing the clumps and all that stuff. Doolittle, he wasn't even doing none of that stuff. Then we started looking and seeing like what he was gonna do. He fell off for a minute. He made some music, saw all that, and then we just didn't see nothing from him. And then when they slid him in a couple of movies, like the Gentleman movie, he did something like called a Gentleman, Distinguished Gentleman. We was watching him, and we was so paying so much close attention to Eddie Murphy. No matter what he did, obviously he did the coming to America. We loved it. It was like you were a kid and you watching this guy, this comedian from TV. Remember, he was on TV. He was like on Saturday Night Live, but you was too young to actually watch that. You had to ask your mom and them, "Can I watch Eddie Murphy?" Then he was off the show, so then you couldn't watch no more as him and that late at night no more. So we was just following his movements, and then finally he got on. He did the movies. He was doing movies and shit. He started doing movies. Then he stopped. And it was like, well, what happened to Eddie? Like, we're not seeing him no more. Well, what the fuck happened to Eddie Murphy? He just, I mean, that was it. And then he came back out, and it was like, okay, well, what he doing? And then he started doing kid movies, and he was like, Doctor Doolittle, the Doolittle more, and it was like, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga, man? Like, why is he doing these movies? And it was like, as a kid, a younger person, you probably 15, 17. What the fuck is wrong with my favorite comedian and my favorite actor? So you kind of got to say, oh shit, he's not going to be making movies for me. He's not going to be making stories that I'm going to be interested in. For whatever reason, he changed. He switched. So he doing something different. And I moved on. I never looked at his ass again. And it was like, okay, that was him. And then I think when he started doing the clumps and shit like that movies, you started hearing about it. Then it's like, oh, it was real funny. He played 5 different characters. It was like, okay, let me check that shit out then. But you wasn't getting what you wanted from your guy, so you left him alone. And that's just the same thing Ice Cube did. They can't make music. They can't make music forever. It stops. I'm sorry. It's a thing in music. They changed my button, y'all. Every time I forget that, YouTube changed the button. They moved it down a little bit, and normally it was in a spot where I reached to, but they just changed it like 2 days ago. So anyway, you see Ice Cube and you being like, damn, he's done what he could do. He's put a stamp in it. And me as a younger guy watching a rapper who I was gonna follow his acting career, he's always did what I want to see. He even with the little where we are yet with the kids, you see he followed right what Eddie Murphy did. He did all the movies, high end, big blockbuster shit. You know, everybody could watch him. And then when he got all of us paying close attention, focused on him only, then he started doing kid movies. And so now this is where Aries Spears pop out and say, that ain't funny. He wasn't being funny. Well, he was just doing what the process was. You even saw him do it to go along or ride along movies with Kevin Hart. Now, why would he be in a slapstick story movie like that if he's not funny? He's gonna play the straight character, and he's gonna let Kevin Hart play the funny one. And so his level of comedy was perfect for that. It was people like Abbott and Costello when I was growing up, or Laurel and Hardy. These people were doing the same thing when they was white. There was like this one guy who really wasn't so funny, but then the other guy was just stupid, crazy. Just you just love this character. He was stupid funny, and that's exactly what Ice Cube and and um and Kevin Hart was doing, and that's exactly what Ice Cube can do in movies. So he don't have to be necessarily the one falling on the water or slipping on a banana peel, but he is doing his level of comedy, and then he's letting the other guy shine by just being the straight character. So you got the straight character, and then you got the comedy, the comic, and that's exactly what that dynamic is that you see when you see in those guys like that. And Ice Cube, come on, the dude that used to be rapping is doing kid movies and doing ride-alongs with a future comedian. You know what I'm saying? And the comedian's still at the top. So you got to give respect where respect is due. I'm not finna let him just throw dirt on Ice Cube name and then Ice Cube just walk away and be like, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Nah, bro. You got to show Ice Cube his respect. He did a lot in the game, and he has shown that what he's done is legendary. It's not just there. It's legendary. It's gonna be sticking forever. I was gonna try to
Today was a good day.
show the
Aries Spears
response
was
to
on Big Boys.
what he said, but I can't find it
Today was a
without no music. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if this is a
Aries
response.
Spears was on
Let's see if
Big
this is a
Boys
response right
Neighborhood
here, y'all.
and made
From
some
Ice Cube.
comments about hip hop, an area he seems to talk about quite a bit, and one rapper in particular, Ice Cube. What is wrong with this dude?
For me, if I'm going, Ice Cube is a I can't stand Ice Cube.
That's crazy.
I'm not a fan of him lyrically or acting wise.
Really?
He's the same. How much time we got left here? Because should I just tell him to leave now? Let me tell you something. Tommy Chung.
That's a
Tommy
green.
Chung. I know Tommy Chung. Tommy Chung did a great joke. He goes, here's Ice Cube as a gynecologist. Hey, Miss Chickens, I looked at your chort. Now get up on that butt.
That's racist. I don't know how it's racist, but what you just did is racist.
It's racist and it's some coke that I'm not gonna sit next to you.
Whatever that was racism.
He's a lawyer. I checked him on him. He wasn't even there. Oh man. As a surgeon, give me that scalpel so I'm cutting that spleen. So you don't feel Ice Cube as a lyricist? Not at all.
Wait a minute.
You don't think that? One of the songs I hate the most, if it comes on, I'm gonna shoot the radio. Today was a good day.
One of the biggest songs ever. Hey,
So he's a super hater, man. It's no way around it, man. He get that choice. You know, people get their decision. It's your choice who you like, what you interested in, who make you laugh. There's nobody can tell you that you're wrong for that. You know what I mean? It's your choice. You know, people like what they like and they watch what they watch. I remember just recently I was watching Tubi every single night. Tubi every day. I will go to bed watching Tubi. Now, recent days, I don't be watching no damn Tubi. I don't be even cutting it on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if I see it on, I'm cutting from it. Not that I don't like the movies, because I do. It's not that. It's just some reason I'm just not really vibing with Tubi. I'm hitting YouTube a little more, like before I go to bed or something like that. So it's like that. Do I hate Tubi? Do I don't? Like, nah. It's just the vibe change. So I think that's what it is. You know, at the time those songs was out, they was the biggest songs. Nobody was walking around with the jokes like that, talking about it. That song, that joke he talking about with Tommy Chung, that came out 15 years later after that song. Not that year or 2 years after that song dropped. Today was a good day. It came out 10, 15 years into the future. So the song had been played at 1,000, probably 20,000 barbecues and birthdays. So now you can get, oh man, to hear that song. But it wasn't like nobody even dissed that song. Because most time when you hear it, it's like, and he probably would get paid like that off that song. Make a fact. You know how it is. You get those record deals. He probably wouldn't even get paid like that off that song. You know what I'm saying? So, but look, I'm gonna let y'all get back to the day. I appreciate y'all rocking with me this far into the show. We had a good show tonight. Sometimes I don't be wanting to do it. I be like, man, I don't feel like talking. How I'm gonna talk? What I'm gonna talk about? How I'm gonna do it? But more than likely, I get on here and I push through and I go ahead and I talk to the people about something that I find interesting, because I do music, and my other podcast, I play my music. You can see that. That one's called Two Times Too Real. I play my music on there, all that stuff. You can listen to my music. This is the actual name of the album. It's called Selfmadeology. It's on all the platforms. You can play that. It's dope. It's quick too. It's only like 7 songs, but I got music videos all on YouTube, and we rocking hard. And I appreciate y'all kicking it with me again. Y'all rocked out with me again. So that's the incentive to make me want to do it again. So tomorrow morning, I should be doing a show around 10:30 a.m. right here, and then around 6:30 p.m. tomorrow we do another show. So it's double up shows right here on this channel. So we're going to kick it. We're going to vibe out. We're going to talk about what's going on in the mix. And then we jumping back into our night or whatever time we get back done and doing the next phase. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me again. Y'all have a super dope evening. And that's it. Peace.